If you choose not to do Viparita Karani, then you can do Supta Baddha Konasana with trunk support. So the setup is over here. You can see my bolster at the wall, maybe about 3 inches from the wall, and a blanket. The reason we're doing this today is this sequence is going to some back bends, and the trunk is in a back bending position. And if you don't have a wall, or if you choose not to do this, and there are reasons not to do this, so start with the feet hip width apart. Sometimes it can, if there's a, yeah, Mary Beth, see if you can scoot in there a little bit closer. Yeah. Julie, if you don't, yeah, I think you might be able to get those your legs at the wall. I know it's not that wide, but I think you'll be able to do it. Start with the feet hip width apart or slightly outside the ilium bones. Nancy, that's good. Just swing the legs up at the wall. So your buttocks, actually, the buttock bones should feel like they're sinking. That's good, Lana. Sinking down into that 3 inch or 5 inch or however. But yeah, Lubna, bring the bolster a smidge back. Yeah, I think you got it now. Then scoot back. Yeah, hold the sides of the bolster. You've got it now. Okay, these look good. Suki, just take the feet a little bit apart. Winnie, a little bit further apart. Polly, just a little less apart. Carla, that's good. Okay. Yeah, must have had to go. So we'll go through the leg positions, but one of the reasons, that's good. Take head support. Mary Beth, that looks good. Put your hand on your navel band and just spread the navel band. That area, the skin should not be pushing into your, oh my gosh, Nadia's here. Good. Push your hand, so the skin right below the navel. Hi, Nadia. Oh my gosh. So nice of you to be here, my friend. I feel like it's been forever. So we're starting Nadia in Viparita Karani, which will be good if you just got off the plane, I think. Okay. Are you okay? So this is the first position of the feet, legs, hip width apart, and then we'll go a little bit wider. If you find that you're scooting away from the wall, you might have to bend the knees. Polly, you could try it, Polly. Bend the knees, hold the sides of the bolster, and kind of scoot back to the wall if you can, because sometimes that happens. Let's see. Okay, Nadia, that's fine if you need to fix it. We're just doing Viparita Karani. Come back. All right. So I hope Viparita Karani inverted leg pose becomes one of your go-to poses throughout the day. There's nothing like having the legs up at the wall and going through this leg shape. So again, as I was saying before I saw Nadia, see that the skin on the sides of the navel is being pacified. Likely that the setup is you don't have the right height underneath your pelvis if the abdomen is pushing up into the hand. And of course it takes time. And sometimes I know with the tri-folded blanket, you don't need another one, but kind of a half a one. So you have to open it up and then put one in. Mary Beth, that looks like a really good shape because you can see how the area below the navel is sinking down to the floor. So you're getting the full, that's the anterior, I hope this makes sense to some of you. The legs and the pelvis are in an anterior tilt forward bend. And I'm saying it because if you can understand that, if you were in Paschimottanasana, first stage concave back, then you would exactly get that right shape of the pelvis. Because I know some of you have that, the pubic bone a little bit too high, and it's hard to adjust or even see on the screen. Of course, if you're confused in any way, please email me and we can set up a Zoom time and I can go show you in great detail in private, one-on-one. Take the legs apart, not too wide, maybe 3 feet, keeping the inner edges of the feet parallel. Suki, be aware the right leg is just a little bit closer to the perineum than the left. Just go a smidge more with the right leg out to the side. Scrub the heel, that's it, Yes, hands can go on the inner thighs. Nance, you can take the legs a little bit further apart, just a little, that's good. Not too wide, not as wide as I would say Upavishta Konasana. So last week, if you remember, those of you who were here Tuesday and Friday, we did spinal elongation. And this is kind of the next chapter where we're looking at moving the thoracic, kicking the dorsal spine in, which obviously goes to some prone back bends and some twists. That's kind of how we're going to finesse this chapter. Okay, now cross your legs in swastika. Oh, sorry, do Baddha Konasana now. Sorry, Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Press the feet strongly, widen the thighs away. Some of you have a foam block, Nancy, that's good. Drop the heels in close to the perineum, but make sure there's no pain behind the back of the knee in doing that. That's good, Whitney. See that the thighs are on the same plane. So when you just notice how the left thigh is slightly higher up toward the feet than the right, just notice that. Okay, all good. Press the feet strongly. Those of you who were here Friday when I was showing Andrea this foam egg. If you have one of those or even a foam block on the narrow side, you can add that in as well, because that will increase the distance between your inner thighs and pubic bone, which is basically fundamentally the metrics of Baddha Konasana, which you're in. Good. If you want, you can take the arms overhead. I have no problem with that to alert your side ribs. But make sure in taking the arms overhead, you don't pull away from the wall. Okay. Now cross the legs, swastikasana, sukhasana for the outer hip. That's it. Shins, right. So it's more at the shin than at the ankle, but if you have knee issues, it's likely to be more at the ankle than the shin. Just know that, because when you're at the ankle, it'll make the leg cross wider, that principle of decentralization. Interesting, the body knows exactly what to do when it's experiencing discomfort or pain. That's fine, Polly, if you need to stretch out the legs, that's fine for the knee. Arms can remain down by the side. I'm just now observing the breath. And then you can change the cross of the legs. See if any stillness in the mind comes, which perhaps might not have been present when you were sitting. You know, it's hard for the mind to arrive in 3 minutes time. It takes that process of involution, could take several poses and sometimes never. It can be, maybe it's not achieved in the practice because the mind is agitated. And then to exit out of it, you place the feet flat on the wall, push yourself away to the point where just the backs of the thighs touch the bolster blanket setup and just rest there, which is very relaxing for the abdomen. The feet are on the bolster, and as you all know, when we do Supta Baddha Konasana with feet on bolster, this is similar. Let the bolster, that's good, Lubna, support the outer upper thigh. So you're not holding on, and then we'll all take the arms overhead in this last and final stage. Remember, no elbows, good. You have a dowel or a block nearby. Carla, that's good, the armpits, yeah. Now with the arms overhead, kick the dorsal spine in. So the area, the skin, and we'll get to this later, the skin at pretty much the 9th, 10th thoracic is cinched in. It's cinched in, which when it's cinched in, the trapezius, that fan-shaped muscle, inverted triangle at the back of the neck should not be lifting up. So it's important to have mobility in the traps, but also strength in the lower traps, mid trap and upper trap. And that's what back bends do for us, particularly back bends like Shalabhasana, Bhujangasana, Makrasana, which we'll work on. Hi, Nadia. Nadia, if anything is too much, you'll just rest. You just got back, so nice. I missed you. Okay. All right. Change the cross. Keep the arms straight. Poker stiff elbows. and just enjoy this final leg position of Viparita Karani. Now when you're ready, scoot head side, bring the feet to the bolster or even to the floor. You can take Dvipada as an interim, which is always nice to do, flexing the feet, holding the shins, and then roll to your side. Okay, so now we're going to go through all the Paryankasanas, and I've taught this many times based on what I looked at all the videos this weekend. You'll need 2 blocks. So I'm going to show straight leg Paryankasana, which is always the go-to, and I'm presenting in an order that makes sense, especially if anyone needs to modify. So we're going to try the high side. If it's impossible to do straight leg Paryankasana with the blocks on the high side, then you could go to the medium side, which when I looked at the videos this weekend, many of you did. Okay, so we're doing the high side. And then I would say, in addition, that many of you need a blanket for the block that's going to receive your head. So this is the setup for the straight leg Paryankasana, which we're starting with. All right, so watch for a second. So the very best way to come into it is actually from bent legs, you see? And I put my thumbs onto the brick that's behind me. The brick, the first brick on the high or medium side, belongs to that thoracic spine. And then this is really nice to have this additional head support. And I'll take my arms down and recline back. You know, a lot of you have told me it feels very hard, you know, and it does. I mean, it's block wood on bone. So it's not the most comfortable thing. It's true. All right. The other alternative, doing with 2 bolsters, which I've also taught. So that's the other possibility. Okay, so straight leg Paryankasana, begin with bent legs, then extend one, then the other. This is a beautiful, good, Julie. This is a beautiful opening for the chest. Put your hands, I didn't do this, put your hands underneath hook your thumbs underneath your armpit chest and just relax your arms, because for some of you, the height might be too much and you'll feel some strain in the pectoral muscles. Carla, we're doing straight leg Paryankasana.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was
Beautiful. All right. If I need to show the bolster tent setup, I will, but I might take a picture of myself doing it and then send it to you under separate cover. Yeah. Now, if some of you are strained in your pectoral muscles, then go to the medium side of the bricks, but it's medium side for both, tall side for both, not one high, not one low. It might be it's a lot. Foam block is a good option, Nadia, because it's a little softer. And also okay, that's fine, Nadia. The 2 bolster setup is also good, Nadia. The tent, what do you call it? In this shape, yeah, you know it. Okay. Close your eyes. You can put a blanket on it, a blanket on your eyes. Carla, I will say that sometimes if you need a smidge of support underneath, and I think Nancy did this the last time, put the blanket underneath the pelvis. I fold it again, Carla, even again, in half, or tri-fold. Okay, these look good. If you have no strain, Mary Beth, the arms can go down by the side. For some people, it's too much, especially on the cork, which is even higher than the wood. Okay, these look really good. Remember to have the backs of the hands on the floor, open the fingers, and try to relax. Nancy, that's a really good shape. Really good shape. I miss Steve now because he would take a screenshot. Yeah, imagine, have the legs running parallel. So it's not so much that, yeah, Nadia, that's good. So be on that back heel hinge and use this time with straight legs. So it's active legs reaching through the heel hinge. That's really good. All right, I was going to show all of the leg positions when I showed the straight legs, but I think you'll be able to follow me because we did Viparita Karani. Okay, so we're going to go to the next leg position. All right. So the next leg position, I'd like you to do Baddha Konasana. You can hold the sides of the mat, bring the feet into the perineum as much as the knees will allow. So this is Paryankasana, same pose with Baddha Konasana legs. So that Paryankasana, as you all know, does not have to be done. We will do it with the legs in Virasana, but for those people who have knee issues, it need not be. Then you can go back to one of any of the leg positions that we're doing, hence why we're doing it. Make sure you have enough, the chin, if you're straining in your neck, put a smidge more height underneath the back of the head. Carly, that's, you know, that's more like the Purvottanasana shape. With the hot, and with the legs bent and the feet flat on the floor, you can lift the pelvis up. That's a way of kind of doing the Paryankasana seesaw action that I've taught without getting the Virasana legs. All right. Now the next one is to cross the legs at the shins in the same way you did in Viparita Karani at the wall. So that's Swastikasana or Sukhasana in Paryankasana. Just stay there. Good. Again, if you feel like you want to hook the thumbs underneath the armpits, that's always a nice thing, because when you do that, you will highlight why you're doing it, this pose, to open the chest, to stretch the pectoral muscles, which get tight from poor posture. So enjoy this chest opening work. Kicking the thoracic in. Observe how the back body feels narrower than the front body because of the cinching in of the skin. Keep the trapezius on the back. Don't let it hike up. Change the cross when you're ready. And just relax. Mary Beth, you'll be at a good position to do the classic Paryankasana with the legs in Virasana because your hands can extend to the wall. So I will take a break here. Let's all come out of this. And the very best way to come out of it now is to bend the legs, put the feet flat on the floor. That's it, Nancy. Hold the sides of the mat. Inhale, good, Mary Beth, come up from the chest. You could go to the side, Nancy, but just to get that chest opener. Okay, so those of you who are not able to do Virasana, Paryankasana with legs in Virasana, will go back to any of those three, be it legs in straight, which was the very first one, which may feel good now, Baddha Konasana, Swastikasana. Otherwise, as you all know, you're just going to sit in Virasana, and if you had a bolster or another blanket, you might want to start to prepare the feet and the legs in Virasana, sit for a moment, and then you're going back. The very best way, Mary Beth, you have it with your arms extended to a wall. And then we're going to lift the pelvis up, which makes the arms come down, that seesaw action. And then of course the buttocks come to the floor. They don't have to touch the floor, and then we'll come up. Now there is an alternative position to do, as I was alluding to with Carla, to do the seesaw action. And Nancy, I actually saw you doing this weekend when I taught this last. So you had your knees bent, Nancy, you reclined back, and Carla, this was what I was alluding to. And then you can lift up. So for those of you who are not sitting in Virasana, you can get that same action to what we're doing in Paryankasana with legs in Virasana, now in this quasi bent leg supported Purvottanasana. Okay, all right, so Paryankasana classically, just so that you all know, is with the legs in Virasana. Julie, that's good. So Nancy, you taught me this one. That's it. Bring the heels close into the buttocks. Yes, and go up and down because you want to get a twofer. You're getting the lift of the chest, but also the groins. Polly, that might work for you, what I just showed. Mary Beth, your arms can reach toward the wall. Lubna, arms to the wall. That's really good, Carla. Now, Carla, observe when you lift your pelvis up, how your hands will come lower down on those rods. That's a good thing. Yes, that's what you want. You want the arm eventually in line with the upper chest. These are good. I know we haven't done this pose in a while. Good, Lubna, that's good. In fact, sometimes if the fingers don't exactly touch, it's even better because then you're required to reach. And Mary Beth, you can work with, sometimes flat palm against the wall, sometimes fingertips at the wall to close the chain, or not, don't even have the fingertips touching the wall. So you're really articulating. Holly, if it's uncomfortable, you can go to this position, take it on the lowest side and do what we did. We ended Friday's class with this one. Do it this way. The blocks, so this speaks to anyone. Blocks are on the lowest side and just cinch in. If the blocks, you don't have to do, if it's uncomfortable, you can, I'll give you something else. I don't want good, Julie, I don't want anyone to be uncomfortable. Nancy, if it's too much, just put the blocks on the lowest side and do what we did on Friday. This kind of just beautiful passive chest opening work. You'll get a lot out of it. Okay. Mary Beth, if you want to make it even a little more challenging, bend your arms and reach toward the brick underneath your head. And that kind of, center your triceps. Lana, you can do that as well. Lubna, Nadia. Yes, that's it. So you're palming the brick that belongs to your head side. And then imagine a camera in your ceiling taking a picture of your centered triceps. That's a good way. Good, good, good. So that means that you have to turn the biceps into the midline. Okay, these look really, really good. So that's a lot of work right there. We just went over. Purvottanasana, Paryankasan, with all the legs positions. That could keep you busy for an hour. Okay, now I'm going to take the Virasana people out because they've been there some time. Now, before I do this, let's just do this. Those of you, Mary Beth, many of you are in Paryankasan, legs in Virasana. Touch to Supta Virasana. Just touch, take the blocks out and go see if you can go flat or the blocks on the lowest side. Just touch it. Everyone else can just stay on the low side of the blocks that I just demonstrated and still get the chest opener and the groin opener. So everyone has something to do. So you're lying on your back with the blocks on the low side and the legs back. Julie, that's it. Just lie back and just continue on. Okay, others of you are in Supta Virasana. Don't let the legs splay out. See that the thighs are running parallel? Yeah, inner knees to outer knees. Yeah, otherwise you can use the belt. See that the thighs are separated but parallel, Lubna. All right, now to come out, place your hands. I know I didn't keep you that long, but I sense that some of you are itching to get out. Place the hands in the arches of the feet, lead with your chest, and up you come. Okay, give a good stretch to the legs in Dandasana. In fact, why don't we do this? Let's everyone do Adho Mukha Svanasana, but we'll start from a standing position from the top of the mat, just to open the backs of the knees. We'll probably come back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. All right, now have the feet either apart or together. All right, we did a lot of arm work last week, a lot. So I want you to take the arms overhead without taking the thighs forward. Those of you who can, so you're in Tadasana, Samasthiti, take the arms up without taking the thighs or abdomen forward. And now some of you can, if you can, bring your hands together, Urdhva Namaskar. Okay, now exhale, bend forward, Uttanasana, legs straight. Jump or step back. If you're stepping, just observe which leg. So that's fine. You did Utkatasana, Pali, and come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. All right, now think about this, guys, women. If you've just done chest opening, there should be some vibration in your back where the bricks were, especially if they were bricks. That's it, Nancy. So can you cinch that skin in, move the thoracic spine in? So if I'm standing in your room, I'm right in front of you. If I put the block there again, between your shoulder blades, right where the block was, that first brick, can you find that now in dog pose? Find that now. Find that brick. Good, Nadia. Press the inner thighs, outer thighs back, and sink the heels down. Now look at yourself now. That's good, Luna. Look at yourself from the side. Good. That's good, Suki. It looks good, the armpit. There's no angle between the upper chest and the upper arm. See if the chest openers help. These look really, really good. The armpits look long, armpits thin, outer thighs back. Okay, now walk your feet toward your hands. We'll repeat it again because some of you have to obviously step back with one leg, and here's an opportunity to take the other leg back. Okay, let's do this. We did Utkatasana a lot on Friday and Tuesday for those of you who are here. So now add after Tadasana, Utkatasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana. All right, so arms up to Urdhva Namaskar. Now, bending at your hips, move the shins back to get the heels down. Chest is more upright than you think. Good, Nancy. We worked on this last week. Utkatasana, zigzag pose, fierce pose. Arms are up. Exhale, bend forward. Uttanasana. Jump back or jump back or step back with other leg. And now kick the dorsal spine in. If you need to pump your thoracic to a high plank and back, do that. That's it, Lubna. Many of you know that, and it's very helpful, especially for those of you who have tight upper backs and or armpits. Pump the dorsal spine in. Pump it in. Now, having moved the thoracic dorsal spine in, see if you can move the chest closer to your legs, but don't let the forearms sink to the floor. So the forearms have to resist away up toward the ceiling as the chest moves toward the legs. Imagine I'm standing in front of you, everyone, with my palms underneath your forearms, below the elbow, and I'm lifting them slightly up and slightly forward. I hope that was clear, especially for those of you who are mobile in the joint, shoulder joint, and elbow joint. That's a good instruction. Okay. Now from here, just rest in child's pose with the arms extending forward. You can show me in profile so I can see the length in your outer armpit. Child's pose. If you need the bolster for child's pose, everybody? No. Okay, that's good. Armpits thin. Polly, just put a bolster underneath your forearm, a bolster and a blanket so that the buttocks, so just remember, if the buttocks are up, you put the height in front of you for your back of your forearm. Raise the height in front of you, in other words. Okay. Arms can also be on the outside, that's fine. Okay, now you're going to do this. Oh. Okay, so watch. So I wasn't going to do this, but I think I will. All right, so you're here. Remember, so just to reiterate, if you cannot get the buttocks to the heels in child's pose, you raise the support in front of you. It's not unusual even to have two bolsters in front. All right, so we're going to go from forward position with bolster or not, and then take the arms basically at a right angle. The upper arm and the forearm form a right angle to each other. My hands are off the floor, and I want you to cinch in the skin of the back body where the dorsal spine is. So it's the Chaturanga Dandasana position, but it's not Chaturanga Dandasana. It's the arm position. So you're in child's pose. Mary Beth, that's good. So your triceps are parallel to the ceiling. Your forearm is perpendicular to the floor, and your palms are open, but not on the floor. Or you can do it, Polly, if it's more comfortable, just stand against the wall and do the right angle. So you're in child's pose with the arms in Chaturanga Dandasana. Not even, just bring the hands a little further back there. Julie, same thing. This is common. It's hard to propriocept the right angle. So your upper arm, your forearm are at a right angle to each other, and then draw the inner elbows toward the midline. Good, Carla. Now we're doing this for the shoulder blades. So feel your shoulder blades flat on the back. Listen, if anyone's neck is taking a plunge, Nancy, you can put a blanket underneath your forehead to elongate the neck, which I think will be better as we stay. That's not, and Lubna, same thing. You can support your forehead with a bolster in front of it, which is a little bit more helpful so that you don't aggravate your neck. We need the same thing. Don't let them, to get that plunge of the neck. They're smaller points, but it matters. Okay. All right, now from here, you're going to come up and we're going to do what we did last week with a belt. So we did this both Tuesday and Friday. You'll take a belt and it's nice to hold it. I've hooked my thumb and index finger. So my palm is open, like in this manner. And you can see that I'm not taking my hands narrower than my shoulders. They're at least as wide. And for some of you might find the first one even wider. And then we're gonna go with movement like we did last week at the roots of the thighs to remind yourself to take the thighs back. Don't let the thighs come forward. And then up to the top, back in line with the shoulder blades to the buttocks, back in line with the shoulder blades, overhead into the roots of the thighs. You'll do 10 in that manner, okay? So warm up for the shoulders. Remember, you've made it too tight on the belt if your elbows bend. So I want the arms straight, and depending on your shoulder mobility, you might have to go wider than you think. That's good, Carla. Okay, so this was helpful to many of you. Could also do it, you know, some of this work with the dowel, but I like the strap because you can move. That's good. You can show me in profile. Long belt, at least probably 8 feet for most of you, if not longer. Good, Nancy. And then just take the pause where you're holding the belt. If you want to turn around and look at your screen, and that will tell you if one arm's higher or lower than the other. That's also very helpful. Or if you're near a mirror, you can do it that way. All right. That's good, Nancy. So I'm just looking at some of you are showing me a frontal view of your arms being even, right side not lower than the left or anything else. Take it down. That's it. So stay right there, Nadia, in line with the shoulder blades and kick the dorsal in. Good, Polly. And then to the backs of the thighs and then up and over, and then you can begin again. Do a few times just to lubricate your shoulder socket. Remember not to bend the elbows. Good. All right. That's good. All right. Now we're going to do a very classical sequence that we often do for shoulders, and it's Parsvahastasana at the wall. We've done it many, many times before. So you can see I'm standing sideways to the wall, and I'm at maybe about 14 inches. All right, and I start with, I'm extending my hand so it's not higher than my shoulder. Some people who have less mobility can be slightly forward of it. The fingers are up. And with a slightly bent arm, and I mean slightly, I turn the skin, which we spent a lot of time last week. I'm turning that upper bicep skin, and then I straighten the arm. And then I'm going to go through 3 different positions. The fingers are facing up, then the fingers point to 45-degree angle, and then the fingers are facing down to the floor. Now, observe with each position, there's a tendency, especially the third one, for the shoulder to lift. Don't let the right shoulder lift up to the right ear, okay? So if you don't worry about if I can't see you, you know, I know that you need a wall, and if that precludes me seeing you, that's fine. So Polly, take your hand in line, so a little bit higher, spread the palm with slightly bent arm, have the feet hip width apart, turn the skin from the inside out. Slightly bent arm. Okay, now fully outstretch the arm, but don't lift the shoulder. Good, Mary Beth, up. Hug the triceps flesh to the bone. Hug the tricep flesh to the bone. Now, just close your eyes and imagine you're looking at your right shoulder blade. If you had to trace the right shoulder blade on your back, what would it look like? It will feel differently as we go through the next 2 shoulder blade positions. Now, when you're ready, turn the palm out 45 degrees. That's it. Again, you start the position with slightly bent, then extend, hug the tricep muscle to the bone. Find out when you straighten the arm if you lift the shoulder up. Don't lift the shoulder up. Don't lift the shoulder up. The whole palm of the hand is pressing into the wall. All right, now, Polly, that's really good. And now turn the hand, again, slightly bent arm so that the fingers are pointing downward. Again, close your eyes. Now observe the shoulder blade on your back body. It feels dramatically different than the other 2, especially the first shoulder blade position where the fingers were facing up. You might feel how the shoulder blade has moved a little bit off to the right side. It may feel broader to you. I'm just giving you words in which you might describe your own shoulder blade. Excellent. Okay, now other side. Left hand, start with slightly bent arm, turn around. Yeah. See that your hand is not higher than your shoulder, and don't let the biceps, the deltoid, pitch forward. So if anything, the hand can be slightly back. If it's forward, it tends to roll the biceps and deltoid, anterior deltoid to the floor. And again, straighten the arm, close your eyes, and trace your shoulder blade on your back. Trace your shoulder blade on your back. Nancy, I think you can extend maybe the arm a little more fully and maybe a smidge higher. Okay, now you've traced your shoulder blade and the fingers up. Now go out to the side and again, trace your shoulder blade. Do you find it's moving a smidge now to the left side of the wall, to the wall, becoming broader, especially the bottom scapula? Just look at these pictures of your shoulder blade. So you could see the shoulder blade on your back. Okay, now fingers down, observe. Now, of course, you could spend more time, a minute or so in each arm position. Polly, this is really good. Okay. Mary Beth, just watch that shoulder. Don't let it lift up to the ear. Yeah, not so much about taking the hand down, but moving the shoulder down. So you have to imagine I'm in front of you, Mary Beth, adjusting your shoulder blade. I'm standing in front of you and I'm kind of rolling that deltoid back and bringing that shoulder blade forward. Okay, now take dog pose with the fingers backward. Luna, you know this one, I can spotlight you with the hands on the blocks. So in the last hand position with the hands on blocks, dog pose with your hands on blocks, fingers pointing backward. The safest way to do this is have the blocks at a wall. Mary Beth, that's it. Dog pose with the fingers pointing backward. If it's impossible to get the fingers pointing backward, then just do the second position, fingers out to the side, Carla and others. If you have less mobility, do it in the second arm position. You can do it that way, Lana, too, on the diagonal. Observe how this is challenging. So you can see, Mary Beth and others, how when the hands are on the blocks, how the angle between the chest, right, and the upper arm increase. All right, so come down, everyone, because this wasn't as effective as I thought. Alana, you can demonstrate it that way with the blocks at a diagonal. So you will need a wall, Julie, to do this. So I'm going to spotlight Lana. Just hold on, everybody. All right. All right, so we haven't done this one, it's true, in a while, but it's a good one to do today, having done Parsva sequence, so we might as well do it. All right, so do you see how her blocks are angled up against the wall? So you have to have a wall to do this because you can't, do the blocks. So I would say the blocks are like 90 degrees. They're like pitched angularly at 45 degrees. Okay, and then you come up, yeah. So the goal here is not to get the angle, which many of you felt in the position where the blocks were flat. This is good. This is good. And then just imagine I'm in the room, Lana, and I'm tapping your shoulder blades away from the ceiling. And then take the legs further back, a little further back, away from the blocks, outer thighs back. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's a good pose. Thank you, Lana. All right, I'm going to remove the spotlight and then I'd like to see you all in that manner. Okay, let's see. If you don't have the wall, don't worry. That was supposed to be removed spotlight. Gee, I hope that.
You removed it, Ronnie. It worked. Oh, it's not on my screen. Oh, Lord, it's always something. That's too bad. Now I can't see anyone. All right, let me put everyone, I have no idea. The gallery, it's always something. Oh, there, I got it. Back. All right, so I'm going to see you all now in dog pose with the hands inverted, but still not to the degree that I wanted. This happens again, I have to not spotlight. Mary Beth, try it with the angle. Is it angled? I want to see no angle, if you don't mind. I think you could just more up at the wall, Mary Beth. Yeah. Okay, protect your wall. Okay, all right. Let's just see. I know many of you have not done this. That's really good, Nadia. The thoracic spine moving in and move the outer thighs back so that the lumbar spine, Nadia, can elongate for you. There's a tendency to dig in there. So outer thighs back, outer thighs back. Okay. So these hand positions can be utilized in poses, and we're going to do some of that now. All right, now from here, just come onto your knees and then come up. All right, so we're going to do Uttita Trikonasana, triangle pose, the classic way with the hand on the shin. We'll do the right side first, then the left. And then we're going to do it with flat palm on the brick beside the right shin. So because the brick only has 3 dimensions, and we've done this many lessons because I reviewed them all this weekend, because the brick has only 3 dimensions, some of you might need a paperback book to add height to it on the low side because you're between getting the hand on the low side and on the medium side. So if you know what you need, you can get that now. All right, so that the palm, I want the palm to be flat. And let me just show you what I'm going to ask you to do. So when you come into Uttita Trikonasana, okay, so let's, okay, so I have to show you on this side. All right, so the block would be close to your right shin. It'll be your right side. And we're going to take the hand flat palm. First, we'll do it with the shin. The second time round, we do Trikonasana, your hand will be flat, okay? So if your hand is between getting it flat on the lower medium side, then you have to build up a little bit of height. It may be a thin paperback. Okay, so first let's do Uttita Trikonasana. If anyone needs to do, if their hips are bothering them in any way, then do it on an angular Uttita Trikonasana that we did last week. All right, so with that said, stand in the middle of the mat, bring the weight to the back heel, and jump the feet wide apart. Remember all that work we did last week to elongate the spine. So that means that your legs have to be far enough apart so that when you bend sideways, you can elongate your spine. So the first Uttita Trikonasana, the right hand will go lightly on the shin. Okay, we're going to do it exactly the way we did last week. Raise the right arm up. And now slowly, as you press the left heel down, create length in the right side of your waist. Bring the hand lightly to the shin, left hand on hip. Put the left hand on the hip to revolve the chest away from the floor. Avoid doing this. Take the chin toward the chest. Move the chin away from the chest, and then finally extend the arms fully away from each other. Extend the arms fully away. Uttita Trikonasana to the right, the classic way with the right hand on the shin. All right, now press the feet strongly into the earth. Inhale, up you come, and come back to Samastiti. We'll jump or step the feet wide apart. Okay, bring the hands to the level of the chest. Jump the feet wide apart. Go wide enough so you get length on the left side of your rib cage. We went over this, as you know, last week. So what's nice about these sequences is that we do a lot from what we did last week. So it fosters just your body memory, your mental memory as well. Pin the hips in, extend the out through the arms, raise the left arm up, but put your mind in the right heel and reach out. Go slowly to get length. But when you go slowly, please keep the legs straight, right hand on hip. Observe the difference in the two sides. There usually is one in terms of spinal elongation. Does your right side feel more elongated? Does your left? Usually it has to do with the hamstring as well. Be careful with the hamstring, Mary Beth. And now spread, lift the right hand off the hip and open the chest. Open the chest. Get that feeling of the chest being open in Paryanukasana. You don't have to look up, but do indeed move the chin away from the sternum. Okay, now inhale, up you come. Now we're doing the same pose, Utthita Trikonasana, with flat palm in the various hand positions. So with 3 of them, fingers are facing forward, fingers are facing outward, and then fingers pointing back. We'll do that 3 hand positions to the right, it's fairly obvious, and then to the left. All right, here we go. Have the block near you so you can shuffle it in, jump the feet wide apart. If the block is not already there, set it beside the right shin, not the toes. It should be beside the right shin. Your hand will go flat on the block or block and book. All right, now same thing, what we just did, go to the right with flat palm, Utthita Trikonasana. Now the reason why I'm teaching flat palm is because when you have your hand on something, it allows you to feel the shoulder blade in the same way that you did in Parsvahastasana. That's the reason why we're doing it. Turn the chest away from the floor and then extend the arms. Now with both arms moving away from each other, find those shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades are flat on the back now. Feel that. Just be one with your shoulder blades. Okay. Now bring the hand back onto the hip, turn the palm slightly out, same thing. That 45-degree position, still the right hand is on the brick, it's slightly turned out. And then extend the top arm up, same thing. Find those shoulder blades. Skin should be secure, trapezius moving to the waist. It's a beautiful way to do it. And now bring hand down to hip. Take the fingers backward. It's the final position. So we're using Parsvahastasana as a platform to the hand positions in Utthita Trikonasana. Why? To inform the shoulder blades. Yeah, Winnie, take your time to get it just right. It's worth it. And now inhale, up you come. Well done. All right, now we're going to the left with the 3 different hand positions to explore. I'll call this the shoulder blades are fixed on the back, fixed on the back. They're not moving, right? They belong to the back and the spine is cinched in. It allows you to feel your spine more easily in Utthita Trikonasana. It's a very good way. When you go a little wider with the legs, to the left when you're ready, just take it. Have the block brick set up close to your left shin. So when your hand comes down, it's not in line with your foot, but rather your shin. That's good, Lubna. That's a really good angle for me to see it. Really good. Legs are straight. Now we're coming up, we're full extension of the arms. One of the reasons I'm asking you to come up is to keep the legs straight on the exit. Come back up. Come back up. All right, now keep the legs straight, go back in, turn the palm out. All right, here we go. Now the second position, but keep the legs straight on entry. It's easier for most people, they're more mindful of coming into the pose than when they're coming out. Full pose, full extension. Observe the shoulder blades. Now come out with keeping the left leg straight. Don't let it bend. I know it's hard. Okay, now come back in for the 3rd and final position with the fingers pointing backward. Legs straight. Good, Carla. Spine long. Shoulder blades on the back body. Keep drawing up, Lubna, from the left knee to the hip and move the buttock forward to the plants. Good. All right, now inhale, up you come. All right, now to make our life a lot easier, but this is how we also would teach Parivrtta Trikonasana, basically Trikonasana, revolved iteration. Everyone have a chair today. Okay, the reason I'm teaching it, one, it's effective, especially if you have a hamstring injury. You get a good amount of turn, but most importantly, you find the shoulder blades on the back. So this can be done, it doesn't have to be a yoga chair. So I'll show you on my right side. We've done this before, Nancy and Holly, this has been your go-to for Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle. And you can see in the same way I insisted that you have the block closer to the shin, I have my chair set up. You can see the chair is to the right side of the chair seat. So when I turn, I'm focusing again on this left shoulder blade turning toward the floor and pinning it. So I have my left hand, because it's revolved triangle, on the seat of the chair, the whole forearm, okay? Let's see it. You need a chair. All right, now put the chair sideways to the leg, not in front, sideways to the leg. All right, now come into revolved triangle. Left arm comes to the seat of the chair. Revolve triangle to the right. You have to face forward first. Bring your left forearm to the seat of the chair. Right hand onto the hip. That's it, Nancy. Now, revolve the chest. Turn from the left to the right. It's revolve triangle. Polly, this is good, although I still would put the chair to the right, not in front of the foot. Have the chair seat close to that right shin. It will make it much more easy for you to turn. Winnie, the same thing. So the chair is not in front of the foot, it's beside your right shin. Okay, inhale, up you come. All right, change sides. So that means you have to switch the chair to the other side of the leg and go. So remember, revolve triangle, left leg's in front, right arm extends. Right arm extends to the chair seat. And see if the chair revolve triangle, that's it, Winnie, helps you to turn more, but also to get those shoulder blades flat on the back. Mary Beth, you can observe, and there's not as much weight on the hamstring, that right side, left side. So it's very effective in terms of doing the pose, because this is one of the hardest poses if you have hamstring issues, as well as Virabhadrasana 3. Okay, these are good. And now inhale, up you come. Can we just do let's just repeat it, because this pose we don't do as often as others. So I just want to see it again, just making sure that you all know, when do the right side, right leg in front, it's the left arm coming to the chair seat. Okay, remember, let me just show on this side. See, so here, when I do it, here's my chair seat, and here's my foot, here's my shin, right? And I'm doing it this way. Can you see that? I don't have the chair in front of the foot, nor in line with the foot. It's more in line with the right shin. Okay, let's take it one more time. Revolve triangle to the right when you're ready. You have to turn facing forward, Nancy, then push the back heel down. Bring your forearm, Julie, if you can, so that your left side of the rib cage is parallel to the floor. It's a really good way to do it, and it works beautifully and is working beautifully for all of you, because it'd be much harder. So now, Julie, you have to keep the right leg straight though. Right leg straight, front leg is straight. Now inhale, up you come. All right, change sides, left leg straight. So you're doing revolve triangle, not triangle. Okay, revolve triangle. It's opposite arm, opposite leg. Left leg is in front now. You take the arms out, turn toward that left leg. That's it. But the front leg is straight. That's it. Turn. Polly, this is really good. So when you're turning, there's a tendency for the left hip, the front leg, to move out of the median line, pin it in. Okay, now inhale, up you come. All right, now we're repeating what we did last week. And I know some of you weren't here, but I'm going to show it at the wall, Pavrita Ardha Chandrasana. So again, this is more to, we went over it on Friday, but just so that you get it, firmly squared in your head. All right, so we're not doing half moon first, we're doing revolved half moon. So you'll need the block. And you're going to take the right leg, which you know is in front, which will mean your left hip is against the wall. I went over this, remember, Friday, and then you step back with the left leg, right? And then you come into revolve triangle, which you were just in a moment ago with the chair, and then the block, you step out with the hand, lift your left leg up to at least 90 degrees. So we worked on this last week, all right? So this is where you just have to know left from right. All right, so your left hip is close to the wall, against the wall, but not pushing into the wall, left hip. Then you step back with the left leg. Left leg is back. I'm just doing it freestanding. Then, right, your right leg's in front, so you reach out, just what you did with the chair, only this time the chair isn't there, with your left arm. And bring your hand lightly to the shin. It's left arm, your right leg is in front. You step back with the left, and then bend your front right leg, and then lift the back left leg up. Revolved half moon, your chest should wind up facing forward. Good. And now watch how that right hip wants to move out of the alignment, pin in. Of course, being at the wall helps. That's it. So it's opposite arm, opposite leg, just like you did in revolved triangle. In fact, we came into it from revolved triangle. Luna, that's good. All right, now slowly come out, bend the front leg, extend to the back. And now here's the thing, guys, you have to turn yourself around. Now you have your right hip against the wall. Step back with the right leg. Just follow these right-left instructions. Then you extend the right arm out to your left shin, extend the right arm to the floor or block, and then step up with your right leg. All right, this is revolved half moon. You've changed sides, so you have to turn yourself around. This is a puzzle to the brain. Your left leg is in front, Winnie, so just step back with the right leg. Yeah, and then your right arm is reaching forward. That's it. Revolved half moon. Good. Okay, these look really good. All right, now slowly when you're ready, bend the front leg and come down. All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. Just keep the chair. You can be at the wall or freestanding. And we're going to do a few rounds of up dog and down dog with the chair, which for most of you is much more palatable because you can get the trunk more upright. You can start with having the feet or the balls of the feet on the floor like this, and then you can come onto the tops of the feet. So I'd like you to do a few rounds of in and out of down dog to up dog. And again, find those shoulder blades flat on the back. Take your hands, go at least as wide as the sides of the chair. So this is it's a good way to do up dog for many of you because your pelvis is a heck of a lot closer and more upright. That's good, Meredith. And then flip on to the tops of the feet if you can. Go back and forth with ease. These look good. Back and forth. So you're bringing your pelvis good, as close to the seat of the chair, might even touch it. Arms are straight. Find those shoulder blades flat on the back that you did all morning. That's good pose, Carla. Excellent. Okay, a few times like that. It's not so much weight bearing when the hands are on the chair. So for those of you of any kind of arthritis in your wrist or thumb, it's much more palatable. Most people get a better pose this way. Keep turning the thighs from the inside out and don't let the outer shins bow out, which is a tendency. Outer shins in. Okay. Now when you're ready, just stay in that half dog pose and open up your armpits. So the next pose we're going to do, Patricia calls it Bhujangasana 2. It will require a bolster, 2 bolsters, or at least 1 bolster and 2 blankets. So you can put the chair near the wall, which is best done at the wall for the hands. And then if you have 2 bolsters, you can take 2 bolsters, or if you have only 1 bolster, make another bolster out of 2 blankets. Okay, I often give this pose as a modification for Chaturanga Dandasana. And then the roots of the thighs, which you all know are here. And I'm alluding to that because the roots of the thighs will belong to the bolster. And then watch. I have my hands at the wall. I'm putting the roots of my thighs, and then I'm going to get that same Urdhva Mukha shape that you just did a moment ago with the palms flat on the wall. And then I'm squeezing the inner elbows toward each other to get those shoulder blades snug on the back. Snug as a rug, okay? And then after that, we'll do this. We're gonna stay a bit of time to strengthen the lower trap. Then you'll extricate your hands from the wall, stay, and then put the whole palm on the backs of the thighs and push the backs of the thighs into the palms of your hands. All right, so let's begin with this one. So the roots of the thighs are on the bolster. The hands are going to go to the wall. If you don't have a wall, you can imagine you're at the wall. All right, lean in. Of course, taller people will need more height. Holly, I would put more support because by having, it's a little bit low, your abdomen is pushing forward. Put your hands on the wall. Mary Beth, you can go a little lower in your hands so it's more like a Bhujangasana, which we didn't do. This is kind of an upright Bhujangasana. That's it right there. And pin the shoulder blades in. Get the shoulder blades on the back. This should feel really nice on your shoulders and back. Good, Lubna. Just support the roots of the thighs. Good, Nadia. Yeah, you're on the toes, heels up, and just suck the outer shins in as they tend to bow out. Okay, now quickly take the hands off the wall. Just pause there. Stay in midair. Use your core strength. Stay in midair with the hands still there, but off the wall. So they're still there, but you're not pressing them. Your core has to kick in. Now take the hands to the backs of the thighs. And now push the backs of the thighs into the hands. You'll need this because when we get to do chair back bend, it's the opposite. You'll have to press the thighs into the fronts of the thighs into, and then look up if you can. Look up, look up. Okay, now slowly come out. Just hold on to the wall or the bolsters. Now you're going to take the belt, similar to where we were, and then you're going to put the belt, the shoulder blades, where the shoulder blades are, and then with the tallness in the spine, like you just did, look up. So this is like a standing Ustrasana. Belt belongs across the shoulder blades. I don't push the lower abdomen forward. I get the tallness here in the sides of the waist, and I look up from the eyes of the chest. All right, standing Ustrasana with the belt or the dowel. You want a dowel, it works well too. Let the arms bend out a little bit. Make your body perpendicular to the floor. It's standing, have the belt across the back body against the shoulder blades. So Julia, tuck so the belt is right here and your arms are out of the belt. All right, one long loop. That's it. Lubna, that's really good. Now this is where everything gets revealed. I don't want anyone's lower spine to dig in. Thighs back, buttocks down, trapezius down. It looks easy, but the integrity of the tallness in the spine. Ask yourself, those who sat in Virasana, are you getting the tallness in the spine? Now face me, just turn yourselves around, Holly, see if you can get the belt so it's not touching the, yeah, so it's right against the shoulder blades. See that, okay, let's see. Lubna, that's it. Now look up from the eyes of the chest. Remember when I asked you to palpate your armpit chest? I want to see your top of the chest parallel. Can you get you can stand with the feet apart, actually, Anna, because it puts a less of a brunt on the lower spine, and it actually will feel more tallness in the side walls of the chest. Come on, give me one wonderful standing Ustrasana. Okay, and out you come. All right, now let's put the belt down. All right, now we're going to do this. Have a blanket, have a belt. We're going to do Shalabhasana. You're going to belt the outer edges of the feet. Keep a blanket and bolster nearby. All right, let's just see. So you're going to Shalabhasana, locust pose is a prone back bend. So we've kind of arrived at this back bending piece, having elongated the spine. So just iterating it so you know how we got here. Belt the outer edges of your feet. Have on the floor a bolster and a blanket just in case you need it. Belt the outer edges of the feet, not the ankles. And you're going prone in a second. Okay, so take time to get the loop, small loop, and wrap it around your feet. So this is the pose that people seem not to like. All right. because it's a little bit of grunt work, as Patricia loves to say. And it is. I mean, prone back bends just, you know, they're prone, you're on your belly. And you don't get a lot of action. There's not a lot of movement. So people become a little bit disappointed with them. Okay? All right, so you're belting your feet and then you're going to lie prone. We're going to see if we can do Shalabhasana without the blanket underneath the roots of the thighs, which is challenging. But if I didn't have you belt your feet, it would be a heck of a lot harder, because when we contain the feet, it's easier to lift the feet together. All right, so you're on your belly, that's it, extending the arms backward. And let's just do the palms facing upward. Okay, now, those of you who have long arms, you can actually palpate with your hand, the palm, the roots of your thighs. The other way, Lubna, the fronts of the thighs. That's the front. So your hands would be, you know, this front of the thigh has to leave the floor. I mean, the whole leg is leaving. But if you have long arms, you can put your hands. That's what has to lift in a minute, right? So that's what I'm asking you to do. In a moment, I'm going to, before you do it, this is what I'm going to say. You're going to lift the roots of the thighs, lift the chest, lift the head, look more outward than up. So you're looking outward from the bridge of the nose with your arms reaching backward. And I want to see if you can get your thighs off the floor. And then you have, since it's hard to distinguish on the screen, you have to be truthful. Okay, so now raise the legs, raise the arms, raise the chest, neck long, don't lead with the chin, look from the bridge of the nose. Okay, now find out, did the roots of your thighs really leave the floor? Maybe, maybe not. So you all know this, Sue. Remember, we did this and you do this. You take the blanket, as you know, and you're putting the blanket in the tri-folded position, what I like to say, underneath the roots of the thighs, because now the thighs will have an easy time to lift. So it's the same pose, but remember, the blanket's not underneath the pelvis. First do this, guys, because some of you have the pelvis up. You need to chisel the tailbone, you know? So look, the roots of my thighs are supported. It's not, don't start with the buttocks up, right? So the tailbone has to be, I'm making a fist and I'm chiseled my tailbone down. Then it's easy breezy to raise the arms up. So make a fist. Chisel your, remember that the frontal hip bones are not on the blanket. Some of you need to move to your head side. Now with the legs belted, lift the legs, good Julie, lift the chest, neck long. Yes, you'll get more, yes, feet together, they're staying together because not necessarily touch it. That's good, Lana. Okay, now come down. Now if you have the palms facing up, have the palms facing each other or vice versa. One more time in that manner. One more time. Shalabhasana, legs high, chest high, neck long. So these poses get to strengthen your upper, mid, and lower tract. Okay, now let's just see what happens. Have a bolster. If you don't have it already, have another bolster or two blankets, because we're going to take the arms overhead in a moment. So have it ready, the bolster in front of you. Actually, don't do it with the bolster yet. We'll put that in. I'll go back to, hi, Gail, back to the plan. So we're going to take the arms out to the side and then up. But then if you don't get your arms up, you can insert bolster underneath your forearms, like you did, some of you did in child's pose. Okay, so you're back prone. All right, I'll just follow these words. All right, now raise the legs, raise the chest. Now this time take the arms out to the side to get that width. Remember that width that you felt in Parsvastanasana. Shoulder blades go long. Now swoop the arms forward so that the palms are facing each other. Lift the arms. Imagine I'm standing in front of you. Lift the arms. If the arms are dropping, if you get the shoulder blades lifting and the armpits not long, then insert bolster on this second time. You'll find it much easier. Put the bolster in front of you and you can support your forearms in the same way. We'll take the arms out to the side and then forward. So we have to find ways in which to strengthen the trap in prone back bends. Could also put your reach toward chair. Okay, take the arms out to the side, wait there, secure the shoulder blades, and then reach forward. Reach forward. Palms facing. Chisel that tailbone out of, that's good. Make sure the roots of the thighs are on the blanket. The pelvis is not up. The tailbone moves down and support your arms. Well done. Okay, and down you come. Now I think we'll save a moment before we go into some counter poses. Keep the bolster blanket where it is. And then it's not exactly where it is. You're going to put the roots of the thighs on the floor now. So this is a little bit harder to teach. Your ilium bones will be on the bolster or the blanket. So watch. Now my roots of the thighs, which were supported by the blanket, bolster, and Shalabhasana, are on the floor. And actually the blanket is touching my ilium bones and my lower rib band. Then I'm going to bend the legs. Polly, you can use a strap. Hold my ankles close to the shin and do this iteration of Dhanurasana, not the classical Dhanurasana, where the thighs are off the floor. This is the one where the roots of the thighs are down, but it works well in this sequence. So roots of the thighs are in contact with the floor. The bolster or blanket is in front of you. It embraces your frontal ilium bones to your lower rib band, and you're prone. Then you bend the legs. Polly, that's really good. Hold the ankles or shins, and this is like your arms become like the bow and arrow, right? And then use your arms with the toes pointing up to lift the chest, good, Carla, off the floor. Even more. Keep the roots of the thighs down. Roots of the thighs down, good. Even more, Lubna, if you can. So you're in this back bend shape, and then release. So we'll work, Dhanurasana is a challenging pose. We're just touching it today, but I think we could use some more work with Dhanurasana. Now I'll give you a choice. You could either go back to the standing Ustrasana that we do with the belt. Those of you who have a regular practice of Viparita Dandasana, the chair back bend, do that. And even if you wanted an Ekapada. So let me just show you. You don't always need to have, I think people mistakenly think they always have to have a wall to do this pose and a lot of blankets, but you do need a chair. All right, so I'm going to just show this rather quickly. And I remember when Steve was here, he was in front of me rolling my thighs in. All right, so first position, tallness in the spine, elongation of the spine. That's de rigueur. Then you go back. You recline back to elongate your side ribs. Then I extend one leg. Now more of my shoulder blade is moving the head side, and then I'm going to extend my arms. Now, the reason why people find it easier to do at the wall is because then they can push their feet into something, and that activates the chain of rolling the thighs in and pressing the thighs down. If you don't have a chair, and if chair back bends make you dizzy or nauseous, then I'd rather have you stand up and go back to standing Ustrasana. So everyone has something to do. Okay, so chair back bend when you're ready. Go through the same stages I went through. Or if you don't have a yoga chair, you can put another chair on its side. Otherwise, you're doing standing Ustrasana, either chair back bend. Lubna, come a little bit. So yeah, when you go backward a little bit more, have the shoulder blades off. If you want to get, that's good, Julie. That's what I'm talking about. Standing Ustrasana. Standing Ustrasana or chair back bend. One or the other. Polly, good. You're doing standing Ustrasana. I'm glad to see. Julie, same thing. Standing Ustrasana or the chair back bend. That's it. When he's standing Ustrasana with the belt against the shoulder blades, those of you in the chair back bend, roll the thighs in. Imagine I'm standing in front of you, pressing the thighs down. You don't have to stay long. I'd rather have you do, especially if you don't do it often, because a lot of people will get nauseous. Come up and then go back again. And then maybe on Friday, we'll do the one-legged variety. Julie, just make sure you don't push the thighs too far forward. So remember, you're bending in the upper back, not in the lower back. These look good. Winnie, you can show me from the side. That would be lovely. Okay, these look good. Movement good. All right, now, those of you in chair back bend your legs, feet on the floor, press the feet, hold the side rungs of the chair, inhale, up you come. And now everyone in the chair, do Bharadvajasana, chair Bharadvajasana, turn to the right, chair Bharadvajasana, turn to the left. If you're done with standing Ustrasana, sit in the chair and do chair Bharadvajasana 1, which always feels good after back bends. Nadia, that's good. Yeah, you could definitely do all your arm positions in Viparita Dandasana. Let the elbows go out to the side. See if you can find the same. Remember those shoulder blades throughout the sequence, how they were flat on your back. See if you can duplicate that now in Chair Bharadvajasana. Feet are apart if you want to put a block between. Now, Nadia, you can do Chair Bharadvajasana. Yes, taller people need to sit on the chair. All right, so this, we're going to do Shavasana, but one thing, so as I was watching all these classes, I don't want anyone to feel like once they get settled in Shavasana, that they necessarily have to stay there, especially obviously if they're uncomfortable. So if you could do, different Shavasanas in the same time. So for some of you, Winnie, I know you do prone Shavasana. Some of you who find, if your mind is in any way agitated, prone Shavasana could be good now. You're actually prone already, supporting your forehead. You don't have to take all the abdominal support, or you could put the lower legs on the seat of the chair. But my main point being, don't feel that if you get into Shavasana and you're not comfortable that you can't change it. Because what I was watching in the classes was, if there's a lot of movement of people's bodies in Shavasana, it's evidence that one is not resting. Right? So if you pick something and then it's not restful, don't worry about it, right? You can start prone. There's always a good position, toeing in and heeling out. I'd love to read the Sondheim again. Actually, I'd love to sing it to you. Okay, and just rest. And that's the operative word. No matter what shape you're in, see if you can rest. Be still. That may take several minutes to arrive in a place of stillness. See if you can abide in calmness and in spaciousness, allowing responsiveness versus reactivity to emerge. And then see if you can allow responsiveness to emerge spontaneously out of the feelings of calmness and spaciousness. And then over and over and over again, remind yourself of Atta, that quality of now, quality of presence. Be here now. Content in the mind will come up, it always does. And see if you can remain unwavered to that content, whatever it is, be it pleasant or not. And just see, and this is what happens in meditation, that you can really feel that awareness has the capacity to be with whatever comes up, be it the pleasant, the unpleasant, neutral feeling. Yes, if you need to sit up, that's fine. No worries. Don't get stuck anywhere. Let that quality of a porous mind, a porous body be there, that nothing gets stuck. Everything flows on by, there for a short time, and then passes away. Know that. Nothing lasts forever. Ill feelings, good feelings, it's all a passing show. There's such wisdom knowing that. Let the body, let the mind become porous. Everything run freely, smoothly, without obstructions, without reactivity. Holding on to nothing. Letting go of everything. Now, when you're ready, many of you have the use of the chair for the lower legs. And just as a reminder, when you put the bolster against the thighs on the tall side, that's a very wonderful way to do it. Not necessarily on the thighs itself or on the shins, but on the tall side so that one can palm the bolster and get that traction in the lower spine. So when you're ready, you can take 3 palms. And then we'll all sit together when you're ready, and I'll unmute you all. If you want to speak, you can unmute yourself. So just take time, transition yourself well to an upright position. If you want to stay a little bit longer, that's fine too. Let's stop the recording.